Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome everybody here to the Land for Success show. And today I have a very special guest. This individual isn't just a guest; he's a very good friend of mine. Now, Tom Chesser, he is the owner of Rise Up Media and Marketing, and an authority when it comes to branding. So he's an authority branding agency and an author. Sorry, agency provides media-worthy stories to over 350 major media, getting them third-party recognition and indexed on Google. Now, I had an event about a year and a half ago called Business Wow Summit. And not only did Tom feature our story, I was seeing articles pop up one at a time. Like I was getting excited. The first one, I was excited. The second one, and then the 200th CNN, ABC, NBC, and so on. So yes, he truly does have the knowledge and the expertise to make that happen, because I know he made that happen for myself and some of my other clients as well. Some of the amazing networks as a contributor, as he contributes articles for you, some of these amazing networks, I'll share with you a few of them: Authority Presswire, Business Innovators Magazine, Small Business Trendsetters Magazine, communities like the Today Show. I mean, how many of you are familiar with TED Talk, right? The TED Talk community as well. And he's an individual that has over 30 years of experience from working as media marketing consultant for companies, little companies that you may have heard of, like AT&T, right? AT&T and other advertising solutions. Now, Tom is the owner, as I mentioned to you. He's the host of an incredible radio show, Rise Up Radio. He's the host of Business Innovator Magazine, radio. But more importantly, gotta tell you, he's a friend, he's a family man, and he absolutely loves to help people. So welcome, Mr. Tom Chesser.
Thank you, Gordon. So it's always a privilege, hanging around with you. We've been together several times. I remember sitting in Hollywood and basically Academy Awards night and all that fun stuff, all dressed up in our monkey suits and, got to sit at tables with very interesting people. Gordon, I appreciate this opportunity because really landing with you is landing for success. I want people to realize it's, who you hang out with, who you are connected with. Your connections are the single biggest thing that you can do basically, for success. And it's always a privilege to talk to you over the phone. It's always a privilege to do the article. That was an amazing event that you put on. It was a very spectacular time. You had some of my people there that I do the PR for. And, so it's good just to be now invited to your show. So welcome to Tom Chesser, the studio, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tom. Tom, as you know, I like to keep things real, like you do, informal. So, folks, if you guys are watching, I'm now going to diss the traditional introduction that I had to read, because I'd rather talk from the heart. And when Tom mentioned about being in California, wow, that was an amazing trip. Tom, I saw you in action, where there was Hollywood stars, where there was an individual that just got started in business, or the millionaires and billionaires that was in the room. You treated every single person with the same kind of respect. And that's what I love. That's what I loved about you. So I want to jump right in, if that's okay with you right now, Tom.
For the jump in with both feet. Let's get wet.
May or may not know you. Tom, start off with what is your story? What is the Tom Chesser story?
The Tom Chesser story, is grew up as a young man in Louisiana, married a spectacular sweetheart, which was my high school sweetheart. Her name is Nyla. She's a school nurse. I have two adorable daughters that are grown now, and I'm raising an 11-year-old grandson. So right now I'm doing about as smart as a fifth grader.
That's like raising a second family, isn't it? Like all over again.
Oh, this little guy is a miracle child, born with only 5% chance of survival. And he learned what it is to survive. And he's taught me so much. It's so funny what this little old fella at 7 years of age taught me. We're driving down the road in the car, and little Jake speaks up, and he's in the back seat, and he says, "Tom, what superhero would you be?" And I said, "Superman." I said, Superman, because, Clark Kent's a reporter, right? He writes for the Daily Planet, and all that. And he says, okay. And I said, he said, what superpowers would you have? I said, well, let me think about that for a second. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, can jump over buildings in one bound. So, I kind of rehearsed the Superman story with him. And then he said, the profound question he asked me was, who would you save? And I say Metropolis, my city, Lois Lane, Jimmy Nelson, the Daily Butte, the Planet, all this, and I went at all that. And so it taught me the thing to finding the superhero in you.
Wow.
Okay. So what superhero would you be? What superpower would you have? And who would you save? So I do this thing, the 9 steps to finding the superhero in you.
Wow.
And we do
Nine
this
steps, not one, two, three, or four, but nine. I like that.
Yeah, so there are 9 steps, which basically I use that technique to write my articles. So as you said, I'm a contributing writer. I love to write other people's stories. What's made me so popular is I've got an amazing amount of people that have great stories. So I'm a contributing writer for, of course, Business Innovators magazine, Small Business Trendsetters, also Authority Press Wire, TED Talks, Today's Show, PR for so many great events. But the stories that I write, like about you guys and about the power of who you are, so I always ask the question, what is your story? What
Right.
is your story? And why does your story make a difference? What matters? And the one thing that businesses need more than anything else is getting their story heard.
That's
Getting their
amazing.
story heard. Getting their story heard. How amazing is it that you think about, you get in front of the mirror and you talk about your story and you're talking about how great you are and
Yes.
wonderful and all this stuff and the power of who you are. What about it? Everybody else knows the power of who you are.
That's
So
amazing. That's amazing. So, Tom, before we get into that, let me ask you
yeah,
this: what is authority? What is authority branding and positioning then?
authority branding to positioning. There's been books wrote about it. One book out there is called Duct Tape Marketing. Duct
Okay.
Tape
Oh,
Marketing.
duct tape marketing. I love that book.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what authority talks
Yes.
about, and it's been in Forbes magazine, USA Today. It's highly recognized as the single biggest thing that you can do to enhance your brand. And really, what authority branding and position is all about is branding you as an authority, an expert. I don't like to use the expert because I'd rather call you an authority, but
Yeah.
an authority in the space that you have. What is the authority that you have for your expertise? Because everybody has something. And so in that situation, what you do is be able to brand them and position them as an authority brand. I want you to understand, Gordon Soul, you're in a brand. You're a brand. Not
Wow.
only is Landed for Success a brand, but Gordon Soul is a brand.
I like
You have
that.
a personal brand.
Yes.
You have a business brand. And branding yourself as an authority is the single biggest thing you can do.
Wow.
That's what the experts say, to enhance your brand online, offline. And it's not what you say about yourself. You know what I mean? It's what other people say about you.
I love that. So
It
thank
is what
you,
other
Tom.
people say about you.
Yeah, branding and positioning and what you said, it's what's better, someone bragging about themselves, me, I, or someone else talking good about them. And that's something you talked about superhero strengths. That's one of your strengths, is being able to help people tell their story. So then why is it important? Like, why is it important for people to tell their story, and how do you help them tell their story so they can position themselves with as an authority?
I honestly believe everybody has a story. And most people's story is amazing. They might have gone from tragedy to triumph. They
Mhm.
might have a book that they want to promote. They might have a business that needs attention. Everybody has an authority space. And
Yes,
being able to get that out there is the number one issue today. I mean,
yes,
today we live in an age of virtual. We live in a new age of we can't be on the stage together because we have to have social distancing. So
right.
what you got is you got people that want to get their story heard. You want people that want to get recognized for the power of who they are.
Yes.
So what I have literally, I have a distribution network. I have a distribution network of ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox,
Wow.
industrial feeds, financial feeds, uh, local and regional sites. So if I write an article about Gordon So, what is your story? And I embellish that article and then I put it out there automatically within less than 24 hours.
Yes.
There's over 375
Wow.
major to
And I
600.
experienced it, Tom. I experienced it with you. I
Yeah,
remember seeing an article pop up in Hawaii.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
oh my
yeah.
goodness, like I've never been to Hawaii. The closest I remember years ago, I was so broke. Closest I was at Hawaii was watching Hawaii 5 on TV, right? And then you get me on, an article in Hawaii. Tom, how do you do that then? Like, people that are watching, some of our clients that are business owners, like I met a young man the other day through a contact in Landed for Success. And he's telling me about his startups, like two of them. He says, Mr. So, I sold my two companies already. Kid's 29. I'm thinking, yeah, $100, 100,000, a little bit of money. He told me $50 million he sold his company for. And I'm like, I was pretending that I wasn't excited, right? Like
Right,
29
right.
years
50
old.
million.
Like, I don't know what I was doing at 29. But so, what do you do then? Like, what is it that you do to help individuals like that get their stories out there and heard?
So when I write the article and I submit it to my editors automatically on Authority Press Wire or Business Innovators or Small Business Trendsetters, automatically that article gets picked up and indexed. Now, what I mean by index, they take that article now to their website, right? They take that article, control of that article, and they bring it onto their website, and then they send the link to that article, my article about you, back to Google.
Mm.
So now you've got ABC, NBC, CBS. They take the article, bring it in, and then they distribute it out to all their network. So basically, automatically, when you get that, it's not going to be any problem at that point in time. I mean, I just read an article about an event that's happening over here where Alex Stern is coming in and speaking with Daniel Gomez and basically came up in March. And now automatically they had over 74,000 uh, responses to that article
Wow.
on Google in 2 days.
74,000 responses.
74,000 responses. Now, all you have to do is go in there. Just your article's still indexed on Authority Press Wire, Business Innovators, Small Business Trendsetter, even though it was years ago. That's not going anywhere. That's still media. So what Google is looking for, and what you got to do is get Google's attention. What
Yeah.
Google is looking for is media-worthy stories.
Wow.
Media-worthy stories, something that can impact and change and make a difference. Google is starving for those stories.
Mm.
So I write these stories that Google wants, and
Yes.
major media networks want to pick it up. And I believe that your story needs to get heard and shared all across the globe. So I just happen to have an authority branding and positioning agency in San Antonio, that is now global. Yeah, now
My
global.
favorite wrestler comes from San Antonio,
Oh, really?
right? The Heartbreak Kid. How can I forget his name? Shawn Michaels,
Shawn
right?
Michaels. Yep.
I think I'm crazy. My dad, I grew up watching wrestling because my parents loved wrestling. And I remember Shawn Michaels, San Antonio, Texas. Anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, my friend.
Yeah, Alamo City, the home of the Spurs. Okay, so the Riverwalk. It's great. It's great. But so what I wanted to do, since I started out my business working for Southwestern Bell Yellow Pages, AT&T Advertising Solutions, I sold Yellow Page advertising for
Wow.
over 30 years. I designed ads. You remember the phone book, Gordon? You remember
Yeah.
what that was? You remember the thing you used to pop?
Our kids, my kids are like,
HTML?
Dad, what do you mean a phone book? Like that's like a
Yeah.
dinosaur. They don't even know what a phone book looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's of the past. But that used to be like the San Antonio Directory when I was an account executive there. That book was worth $122 million a year.
Wow. Wow.
$122 million a year. And so people wanted to place their ads in the phone book to get attention, right? You
Yes.
were a plumbing contractor. You wanted to have the best ad with the best content to drive people to your business. So, as a trained professional, as a consultant, I taught these people how to position themselves in the yellow pages, whether it was a double full page ad or a half page ad or quarter page ad. But also, it's not just the size of the ad that matters, it's
Mm.
the content.
The content. Okay.
The
Why is
content.
that, Tom? Why is the content important? Because people think, well, I got a full page ad. I've got lots of money to blow. So the bigger the ad, the better. So you're saying that's not the case.
No, placement was important in order to out trump your competition. So
Okay.
size did matter in a way because people wanted to let everybody know that they're the big boy in
Okay.
town. They're the authority in the phone book for that classification for that category. But if they weren't giving the right content that for people were looking up, you open up the yellow pages and you go in there and you need a plumber, right? All of a sudden your drain stopped up. Man, you're panicking. It's flooding the house, ruining your carpet, and you got to go somewhere. Open up the book. What are you going to look for? 24-hour service, 7 days a week,
Yeah.
no overtime charges.
Yes.
Those are the things that matter to you.
I've been there.
So
I've been there with the drain guy. I need you over here now, right?
now it's
Back
now.
it up.
Now.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what makes you so valuable that people would want to do business with you? What makes you unique and different to stand out among the crowd? Everybody wants to stand out.
Yes.
Everybody is different. I teach them and train them how to stand out. It's
Understand.
amazing to me that people don't know how to quite do that. They know what they do, they just don't know how to get the message out there, and they don't know how to make that message customized just for a specific need.
Yeah. And you certainly you're someone who knows how to do that, because I know, with our Business Well Summit, not only did you help us, we actually had a guest from Africa who saw the article, flew in for the event. But friends of mine like Dr. James Dentley,
Right.
right? John Shin, the executive producer of Think and Grow Rich, the movie. That article, now you blew us up, which included them and the Shireen Francis television show. It was pretty incredible. Tom, I'm going to switch gears for a minute.
Switch a gear.
Third-party recognition.
Right.
You write about that as well. Why is third-party recognition important when it comes to authority and positioning?
Because you're not who you say you are. You are what other people say you are. I taught to that my kids at a young age that you're not who you think you are. You're not what other people think you are. You are what you think other people think you are. So having the validation from somebody else is priceless. A good review, a good response, somebody else out there telling your story and bragging about you. I walk into the room, I put my arm around you, and this is Gordon So. I want to tell you how amazing he is.
Yes.
That has more credibility to it than you telling your story. So third-party validation, third-party recognition. It just so happens that I have 300 to 600 major media networks.
Wow. Just happens, right? Come on.
Just happens. They're my, they're my buddies. They want to tell your story too.
Yes.
And so then in that regard, it builds that brand from somebody else's point of view. But really, it's all about you.
Yeah.
The other thing that Oscar Wilde, who's a famous philosopher, said is you get upset, right, Gordon? You get upset when people are talking about you.
Yes.
Oh, don't say that about me. That's not me. But you get more upset when people aren't talking about you.
Right, right. That's such a good point, Tom, because one of my mentors once said, I was in the direct sales industry, and some people say, well, I don't want the money, or I don't want the recognition. I just want the check. And he said, the day somebody makes 10,000 a month and they don't get one of these attaboys, watch how their ego gets out of whack. Like everyone wants their attention, don't they?
Absolutely. You want to be recognized for the power of who you are by others.
By others.
So important to get, and I don't know, we're creatures of self-gratification.
Yes.
But it's nice to know that other people appreciate who we are and we get recognized for who we are. But one other thing that's really important, Gordon, you want to be recognized for the power of you are in a positive way.
Positive way, yes.
You don't want somebody out there saying bad things about you, or have a bad review or something like that, because maybe it's a competitor that just wants to pull you down, and they'll go write a bad review about what you do, or that kind of deal. There's haters out there, but the situation is, you want positive people saying positive things.
Haters will always be haters, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of maybe something you have done in the past for a client when it came to recognition that you were able to help them? Because some people have stuff they've already recognized for, but they're afraid to even tell those stories.
Yeah, right now I have a client that's called Fusematic. Okay. Fusematic is an alternative welding solution using friction bonding. So, when you rub stuff together, you create friction, right? So rubbing things together at a fast rotary speed can put metals together better than using flame, and things like that. So they came to me and they wanted the story out there about Fusematic, because not only are they a powerful company that can help the maritime industry, the Navy. I mean, the Navy's dealing with them. They can help oil and gas. They can stop explosions because you're not creating fires, right? So they come to me and want me to promote their story. So I wrote article about them and Fusematic, which has got international global attention. And then right now I'm working on, getting them $5 million worth of funding for their business.
Wow. $5 million worth of
$5 million. And I do that through somebody else that I love dearly. That's another one of my clients, which is called Pitch Global. Pitch Global is an online, you know, these guys, online
yeah,
investing things for people to come together, just like we're doing right
yes,
now. And you pitch your product, right,
that's
to
incredible.
over 100 sharks.
Yes, yes,
You know, you have angel investors out there. Now they've done this virtual event, which is called Pitch Global. So now I'm putting them on Pitch Global and
yes,
about I think the 19th of this month, so they can already share their story, so they can raise $5 million for their company,
that's
you know,
incredible.
which in return. So yeah, it's about, and that's the beauty of Gordon. The one thing that I've learned about you, and I've learned over the time that we spend together, is the power of what you have and who you are. About you're the connection man. You are the connection
Thank
man. You
you,
put
Tom.
two
Yes,
things together to cause enough interest to help them blow their business up. And you've done that time and time and time again. But you, my friend, are one of those things I'd like to write about because why? There's the power of you, but you're not one of those guys that goes out and brags about yourself.
mm,
No, you know, when you walk into a room, you stand there and, you know, greet people, and they don't know who you are, but they don't know that they're standing in front of the man that's made these companies powerful.
mm.
You know what I mean? So the only way they're ever going to know that if I tell them that.
Wow,
You're not going to stand there and brag about yourself, are you?
wow.
That's not you.
Thank you. And that's a superpower you have, right? In helping to edify other so many amazing individuals and business owners out there. Is there any other? Can you share with us maybe one other article of maybe someone you wrote about and maybe how it's helped them again position themselves as an authority?
Absolutely. One called Balco Systems. Balco Systems is a critical care communication system that goes into hospitals and into schools. And because of the shootings in the high schools and things like that, you know what I mean? It's
Yes,
important for these school districts to protect their schools. So Balco System installs a critical care communication system to where the superintendent of the school, if there's an emergency and they need to shut down the school, he
yes.
presses a button. All
Wow,
of a sudden, it sends out the message to the teachers. It locks all the doors. It shuts all the gates. It
wow.
literally has saved lives in West Texas schools.
That's incredible, Tom.
So
Wow.
Balco Systems was sold their system to a school system, Stillwater ISD in Lubbock, Texas. That school system, Stillwater and Kenny Border, the superintendent, got on national TV, you know, and recognized for protecting the students of his school district. And Balco's the one that did it. Now, Balco was supposed to be in on that interview on TV, but they cut it short and didn't even mention Balco Systems. So
Wow.
I made sure I wrote the article. I also interviewed them on Rise Up Radio.
Wow.
And I had Dan Wilford, who was the president of Balco Systems, amazing guy, great family man, just amazing company. And basically, I had him on my show. Well, I invited on my show Kenny Border, the superintendent, as a surprise guest.
Wow.
Kenny got on the show and is jumping up for joy, screaming about the benefits of how Balco Systems saved lives, his students' lives, in his West Texas school district. Now, if you go to Balco Systems right now, their website, that's their number one focus is schools. Is schools. So not only did it get international attention, but it got him attention among the other superintendents within the whole area. It also got him the attention of national recognition that he really deserved. He deserved that. He deserved it, but you know, somebody just pushed his company aside and just wanted to promote the story, not promote who got the system installed. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
that is an amazing story. And today we're still, you know, we're still very good friends. We communicate all the time, and you know, but I love that story because that saved lives in
yeah.
West Texas schools.
Yeah.
So, you
Yes.
know, and you know, so one of my other clients, which owns over 5,500 apartment complexes in the Dallas, Texas area, you know, they're investors in multifamily units, right?
Mm.
And I needed to brag about them because they are the kind of investors or asset managers for these units that when their people were struggling with COVID, right?
Yes.
And losing it couldn't pay their rent, they were paying them to make masks
That's incredible.
to give
Wow.
to local area
Wow.
hospitals, and they were
Yes.
feeding them, and they came in and brought food and brought toilet paper and you know took care of their community. You
Yes.
know how that is for apartment owners to take care of their community, how
Yeah.
rich. So I
Yeah.
wrote an article about this West Texas family that was out there saving their community and in their community.
Talk
So,
about doing good, right? Talk about doing good at a time of need, right? That's
right.
amazing.
Yeah. Now, one of my other favorites is my daughter. She's a school teacher here in San Antonio, Texas, special ed teacher. She's also a coach. If you go to Authority Press Wire, type in Karen Chesser. I
Right.
wrote the article about Karen Chesser and her at the blackboard and writing about the 5 things that every parent needs to know during COVID for their
Wow.
students. Yeah. So it's all about the story, right?
The story, yes.
It's all about the
That's incredible.
content.
That's
And
incredible.
that's the important thing to me is having the right content because
Yes.
content is king.
Wow.
But these people want to hire me because I can share that content and get them the reach.
I'm changing your name right now from like Tom Chester to the Kingmaker, right? Tom Chester, the King. And you are, Tom. You're very humble about your success as well because you have helped so many individuals not knowing how to share their stories, right? To actually share it in a way where it's humble, right? But at the same time, it positions themselves in a way where their product and services are needed. Like this story that you just talked about, schools, that the school in Texas where that technology is saving lives. So if the story doesn't get out there, then we can't save more lives. And
Right.
then, when we talk about entrepreneurs financially, oh my goodness, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's excusitis, right? There's people out there hurting financially. And with what you're doing, with what we're doing at Land for Success, all we really want to do is provide an opportunity for people can meet, network, grow, support each other. And the support system you're bringing in, I'm so excited, Tom, that you're going to be able to help our community, our entrepreneurs, share their story, right? Because their stories are important. Tom, before we finish here, I'm just going to switch gears for a minute. Would that
Sure.
be okay? And I want to, the folks that are watching, look, Tom's been a good friend of mine. He's helped myself, he's helped my clients, and I thought it's time, right? Where we get together, and you're gonna, if you're here at Landing for Success watching Tom Chester, you're gonna see him more and more. I believe next week or the week after, we may even have Tom limited to 50 people. That's it. Where we'll have a Zoom where you can hop on, and you can actually not hear from Tom on how you can tell your story, perhaps how Tom can actually help you tell and share your story, and you can ask him questions. See, that's what I mean by access. I've seen individuals charge thousands, tens of thousands of dollars just to have access to Tom Chester. So if we can make that available to you, would you guys show up? I'm not sure about you. If Tom Chester's in town, don't walk to it, run to it. I mean, he is that incredible when it comes to helping individuals like myself, like yourself, get our stories out there. Okay, so Tom, I want to end with a couple of fun questions. Put you on the spot. Would that be okay?
I'm sitting in this chair. This is the hot chair.
All right. Let's see if we can get to know Mr. Chester a bit here. Tom, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Okay. What is your favorite ice cream?
Believe it or not, mint chocolate chip.
Okay, mint chocolate chips. I think that's my wife's favorite too. Mint chocolate chips. That's a good choice. And then Tom,
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
See, yep. See,
why
now we
mint
really
chocolate
have
chips?
something in common. The love of your life also likes my ice cream.
There you
Uh,
go.
so I can deal with that one.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing to me because I want people to understand the power of who you are. So let's close the show with talking about landed for success.
Let me ask one more question, then you're going to close.
That's one more
We're going to
question,
talk
and I
about
want to talk about you
success,
for a
okay?
minute.
So the one question I do want to, and let's close with that, what you want to do. But my one last question for you though, Tom, is, see, you're always looking at ways to help other people. But I want to ask a question, okay? And the question is, if Tom Chester right now can wave a magic wand, okay, and do something for Tom Chester, not somebody else for a minute, because again, I know you're always like, how can I help somebody else? Whether it's family or friends or clients, if you could wave the magic wand and do one thing right now for Tom Chester, what would you do?
That's a very interesting question because I'm like you. I don't brag about I don't write articles about me as much as I write articles about other people. I enjoy edifying other people because I believe once you edify somebody else, you're going to get edified
See how
yourself.
giving you are? Like
So
you're the epitome of what Napoleon Hill talks about, going the extra mile for other people, doing more than what you require of doing.
Mhm.
That's why you guys listen. If you hire Tom, okay, you're getting your money's worth. I've been there where people, I'll charge a little bit less, and then you understand why. Like value for value, pound for pound, right? Like if you were a prize fighter. By the way, my dad passed away, and people in my hockey league, there's about 80 of us. Tom started posting that I had passed away by mistake, and you can
Oh
imagine
my
the chat,
goodness.
right, going on. And one guy said, "Man, Gordon, pound for pound, he's one of the toughest guy, right?" Well, Tom, pound for pound, what you're paying for, right? You talking about that one client, like raising over $5 million. Oh my goodness! Like, what would you have to pay for access to somebody who could help you raise that kind of capital? But Tom, again, you're that perfect example. Always wanting to serve and help others. What would you do for Tom? That's a tough one, isn't it? That's a tough one.
That's a really, really tough because I have everything I need in the situation. You know, I could retire tomorrow and not worry about the
Yeah.
money. It's not about the money. It's not about, it's not about that. Uh, I'll say it to you this way, Gordon, because, my number one thing is I go to bed every day or I wake up every morning. My number one prayer is, Gordon, lay somebody on my heart and love that soul through me and
Wow.
let me do my part to win that soul to thee.
Wow.
And it never ceases to amaze me, that every morning when I wake up, God puts somebody else in my path. Number
Wow.
one, that I could help or I could edify or that's going to hire me, but it's a potential opportunity. So
Yes.
I'm not dying for opportunity. I'm dying to get the story out. I love the story. I love who they are. I love what they do, and I love to be able to tell it. So I look for clients that I can edify because it's gonna, no matter what it does, it's automatically going to come back to me tenfold.
Amazing.
So reach one, each one reach one, you
People.
know, pay it forward, but you're getting everything. So it never ceases to amaze me when I think about the first time I met you sitting at a table with Dr. James Denton and a whole bunch of influencers. You were
Mm.
sitting there, you and James are friends and working together on some things. And we're sitting there, and I didn't know who Gordon So was. No, everybody wanted to come up and walk up, oh, James Dentley, James Dentley. But when I learned who Gordon So was, I'm like,
Mm.
whoa, you don't know who Gordon is? And now I talk about you all the time as the connector. I mean, you're the number one connector in Toronto I know of. And oh my gosh, your spread goes all the way overseas, everywhere. So people don't see the power of who you are. And you have the same problem I have. I don't brag about myself. You brag about the connections that you're making to change people's lives.
Mm.
That's what you do. You're in the people business.
Yeah.
I just want, if I have one wish and one wish only, is that people value who I am.
Wow.
People see who the value I am. Don't let anybody ever devalue who you are because you have talents and superpowers that nobody else has. So
Yeah.
you want to be recognized for the power of who you are.
Who you are. Love
Yeah,
that.
it's not, some people say to me, Tom, I want to use your business, right?
Right.
You ever hear that? I want to use your business. What do they say? Or I want to hire you. I like the one I like hire instead. I want to use you. I want to use you.
Yeah.
Use you has a connotation. I want to use you and then I'll use you up. I just want to use you.
Use you
Uh,
and abuse you, right? Yeah.
use you and abuse you. We've had all people out there that's gone out there and taken what we've done for them and taken the power of that and multiplied it out. But never forget
Yeah.
where you came from
Wow.
and never forget who brought you there.
Mm.
Who was the person that had the greatest influence of your life just passed away?
Wow.
You put him to rest yesterday.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you'll never forget the power of who your dad is. You'll
Yes.
never forget what he did for you and what he
Yeah.
taught you, what he shared with you. And I guarantee you'll wake up in the next couple of days and want to ask dad a question.
Yeah.
Dad's not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's still there.
Yes.
He is the essence of who you are because he's inside of you.
Wow.
And I'm a Christian, but greater is he that is in me than he that is in the
That is
world.
in the world, right? Powerful.
Absolutely. The power of who you are is inside of you, but it needs to be shared outside of you. So the biggest regret you'll ever have in life,
Yes.
the biggest regret you have in life is not how much money you made. It's not how many houses you have, what cars you have, or all of that. What do you think the biggest regret in your life is going to be?
Mm.
That I didn't help somebody else.
Wow.
So if you really want to know what my mission, my heart, this is my passion. This is,
Okay.
look at it, my ministry, look at it, whatever you want to call it. This is me. And I want to be able to stand in the day of rewards
Yeah.
and have somebody say, well done, thou good and faithful servant.
Wow.
I want to go about doing good. I want to know, people know about me as Tom Chester did me a lot of good.
That's
You
amazing.
know, I want to know people know and respect the power of who I am to make them more powerful,
Wow.
if you really want to know. Okay.
That's why we're here today, right? Together with
Yeah,
Rise Up,
we're together. We're
Rise
just
Up,
have a conversation.
and Landing for Success together. Tom, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I look forward to so much more we can do together. So much more we can do together, with your clients, our clients, all around the world. Is there a final thought? I've
Yeah,
got.
we didn't get through that. You bounced me off the whole deal because you kind of pushed me. Landed for success. Let's
Okay.
talk about what landed for success really is
Okay.
and why it's so impactful, even for me. I mean, you want me involved with it. I want to be involved with it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
We've already been talking about that. But landed for success is.
Oh,
Let
you're
me.
asking me or you?
I'm asking you.
Oh,
Let's
you're
turn the
asking me?
tables. Yeah.
Yeah. Landing for Success, Tom. Like yourself, myself, we've been in the personal development space for so long now, right? And
Right.
and I believe in it. One of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Right.
So personal development, personal growth, the event space. When I hold an event, my big events are 30, 50, 200, 500. So I'm not like the guys who have like the thousands and thousands and thousands, right? Where big events are 300, 500 at a time. And I've seen events where it's important for us to invest in ourselves.
Right.
It is. But I've also seen where there are coaches, I don't know if that's the right word, coaches, mentors. They're always like, give me more money, right? As long as you give them more money,
Yeah.
they're
Give me more money. Yeah.
right. They'll take care of you. Give them, and I'm not saying not to, because like yourself, myself, we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on ourselves, flying here, flying there, learning from coaches
Right.
and mentors. So Landing for Success is just simply a community where entrepreneurs have a safe environment to come to, where they can meet, they can network, they can grow. We have a forum that right now has 15,000 members on Facebook, and our goal is to grow that to 25,000 before the
Right.
end of the spring, where folks can come and it's free. They can meet, they can network, they can grow. And then inside that community, Tom, for folks who are serious, we have a membership, a paid membership, because if you don't pay attention. You heard that.
Right.
And to be a member in that group, you ready for this?
Yeah. Share it with me.
$100 a year.
Uh-oh. Let me
Right?
see. Let me
And you
see. Let
get
me
to
put that
meet
in.
amazing individuals like the Tom Chesters of the world. You get to
Right.
meet a friend of mine, let's say Akula, who helped a 24-year-old who struggled with math as a kid and then said, Kula, I've got this idea how I can improve other kids with math with an app. So he coached them, mentored them, helped them with this app. 4 years later today, it was just valued at $600 million. It was featured in Forbes magazine. And Will Smith, right? I love Will Smith. Will
Right.
Smith just invested in that company. So that's what Landing for Success is all about, a community where individuals can come together, they can meet, they can network, they can grow. And then the final piece of that, which I love, and that's why I love Tom being here, your story is so important. So if you guys know me, over the years, I have accidentally helped hundreds of individuals become authors and speakers and best-selling authors. And so we have a book series called Landed for Success. And now fitting that, my dad, we just put him, it was his memorial yesterday, but as an immigrant kid, and Jay, my business partner, immigrant kid, both of us are immigrant kids, and we've seen the struggles and the hard work of our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, our friends, and how they struggle, but they landed for success. But
Right.
not just Tom, not just immigrants, but ourselves. We had somebody come to us and say, Gordon, I'm not an immigrant, but I have a story.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
Landed for Success, right, is a book where we feature stories where individuals can share their story to inspire others, and some of them will use this as a tool for authority to build their business as well. So
Right.
hopefully, Tom, that gives the folks who are watching just a quick
Yeah.
overview of.
Yeah. You're the hub. You're the hub where all great people can land
Yeah, I like
off
that.
again. So when you look at an airport, you have all these airplanes flying in to a
Yeah.
destination they're wanting to go to next. An
Yeah.
airport is just a holding station to let you continue traveling on the direction you want to go. So I
Wow.
think Landed for Success is that airport. I
Wow.
think you're the runway. I think people are coming in, they're going to park their planes, then they're going to fly out again and have more success. So
Wow.
it's not that people aren't successful already, but how do you combine yourself with other people to get where you're going?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where do you want to go? Well, how do you want to get there? And
Exactly. So good.
so I look at it, you're landing in here, you could be successful already, you have success,
Yes.
but
Yes.
yet you want to glean off and pick up and load up the passengers to keep the flight going to have more success.
Yes.
How about that one?
No,
Because
Tom, that is so brilliant. Wow.
what you want is you're bringing these people together, helping them get
Right.
positioned,
Bring that
helping
up.
them get started, putting them back out there again.
I
So
love
in, out
it.
for a bigger climb. So I got to get you to my destination. Your
Yes.
destination is where you want to go to, but how you want to get there. There's
Wow.
no airplane out there. I mean, there are airplanes that can fly long distance and everything, but how many airports you have to come in to commute? So I
Absolutely.
think of your network as a commuting network, a
I love it.
commuting network to where we can come in there. We can share who we are. People can come and join our train or our plane
Yes.
flying to greater success.
Wow.
Does that make sense to you? Because it's not where you get in life, it's where you're going.
I love that, Tom.
It's where
I'm
you're going.
glad we recorded this because I'm going to dissect what you just said over and over again. We're going to take our team, what you just said, paint such a beautiful picture of this hub where entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
small business owners, CEOs can come. And some of them are going to come and they're going to say, hey, I'm not even interested in making money. It's time for me to get back. Right. And some of the CEOs may be sitting here thinking, too, oh, my goodness, like this is also a hub where we can continue to grow our business and new individuals can come and learn and grow as well. And so they come in and they decide which flight, where do I need to fly off to? What's my, everyone's going to have a different journey and destination, right? And the individual,
You're a relay station for
yeah,
your
I
next
love it.
destination. So I let me market what you got. But I love what you're doing. I'm a fan of yours.
Thank you.
I have been for years. It's great talking to you as usual. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I appreciate this. Uh, Thank you for making the connections that you've already been making with me and for me. And Gordon, you're such a caring and giving person, and I admire that about you. And you don't really expect much in return, but yet by me making you better, you're making me better. And that's what it really takes is all of us working together. And
Yes,
that's how I end my radio show. All of us working together can make a difference, right?
yes.
Right? All
Wow,
of us working together. It. What kind of difference do you want to make?
wow.
What kind of difference do you want to make? So, I love interviewing people like you, interviewing top performing professionals in the field of their expertise. You know what I mean? That basically can help make a difference in their city,
Wow.
in their country, in other people's lives. I mean, that's why I do what I do is to showcase who you are.
Thank you
And
so much.
so thank you so much for having me on your show.
It's been a
Sorry for
pleasure.
yeah, we had some technical difficulties trying to get this thing live on Facebook, but hey, we'll get it out there, buddy. Thank you so much. 2 thumbs up. Love you,
And
man. Take care.
thank you. This is my amazing friend, special guest, Mr. Tom Chester, as usual, making a difference. So thank you for joining us. And until next time, everyone, have an amazing, amazing, amazing day.